Here we go. Going live. Grabbing the chat. Alright, I'm supposed to do this over on Twitch. There we go. And now, as soon as I get my chat over here, hey, not too much, just making sure everything's good for the stream to actually be live, and it looks like it is. So it is time to start blasting. I farmed up some gloves, and I hit this, which is pretty okay. You know, just a casual T6 necrotic res. I don't have any LP on my Twisted Heart of Ukros. I don't have any LP on my Bone Clamor Barboot, because so far I've not had good luck with this. And I don't have any LP on my Ghostmaker yet. There's definitely some upgrades to farm, and at some point I should fix my Exalted Gear. But you know what? The Exalted Gear is honestly largely fine. And so I think the priority is going to be upgrading either the Bone Clamor or the Twisted Heart. I'm probably going to start with the Bone Clamor. Mostly because it's a little more common, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, let's go find out. I can't imagine it being... Oh, yeah, 1 in 54 for 2 LP, 1 in 5. Whereas Twisted Heart is 1 in 7 and 1 in 153. So actually, for 1 LP, Twisted Heart wouldn't be that bad either. But it's not necessarily the most common drop. How's it going, Snow? And I'm just gonna pin something so I don't get questions. And now I have to go pin it over on YouTube. There we go. That way I don't need to worry about the what build question. You have a question about monoliths and corruption. So you have one at 250 and rest at 100. Can you get bonus corruption for rest? Yes. Once you defeat Shade of Orbis, you will get bonus corruption. That's not necessarily a bad thing, Snow. Just because your setup is different from the Maxwell guides completely does not mean it doesn't work. There's a few other Warlock archetypes that haven't yet been fully explored. It kind of just depends on how it's different. Like, I'm pretty sure there's just a really strong Ignite Warlock archetype. And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with an Ignite Warlock guide over on Maxwell. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, because I don't know if it's actually that good or if it's just good at very specific things like single target. Poison Chthonic Fissure. Okay. That's a little bit harder as a sell, I'll be honest. Mostly because I don't know that you have enough scaling there to really make Poison Chthonic Fissure work. Not in the same way Bleed has a ton of scaling anyway. So if you've had to go back and redo monoliths for levels, to me, that's a sign that you should probably change your build. Because right now, I wouldn't really say you should ever stop your forward progression in normal monos because your build isn't doing well. That's kind of a red flag. Yeah, there's a ton you can get away with, but some things are more viable than others, usually based on synergies. So like Poison Chthonic Fissure, if there was poison support throughout Warlock, that might be a lot better. But there isn't that much. Not the same way there is for Bleed and Ignite. So I'm a little skeptical about Poison Chthonic. Oh, you're hoping to get an Omni. Good luck. I'm also hoping to get an Omni at some point, but it's really not a priority. Omni would be quite sweet. Ooh, a wand. I don't think it's a good wand. At some point, I need to go through my weapons and trash a bunch. Oh, no, that is not an issue at all, Snow. So for comparison, you can go straight, if your build is strong enough, you can go straight into the 100 monos at like 50. There is no explicit level penalty or anything like that that just wrecks you. What is Omni drop chance? That's a good question. I think the reason it might be a little harder to pick up for our database is because it requires 300 corruption. Excuse me. Yeah. FPS drops in monos. Have I ever is a very loaded question. Yes, in the past, I have gotten FPS drops in monos. But do I get them frequently? Since I swapped off of using Chthonic Fissure triggering Chaos Bolts on Bleedlock, no. But also, I think that was something that was fixed in a recent hotfix. So it could be that it's no longer an issue at all. You know, maybe it does need 200. I don't remember. I'm going to be honest with you. Just the number 300 is stuck in my head, and I don't know why. So I assumed that's correct. 40 to 50 Orbis and 0 drops. That sounds unlucky. I don't think that's average. Oh, you're still getting the drops. That is unfortunate. Yeah, I ended up swapping off of Bleedlock for Torment Lock. Because I was Merchant's Guild, and it made me want to quit the game. Because, oh my god, the market is so bad right now. It is the worst convergence I've ever seen of people who have no idea what the economy is. A system that is made to like soul-crushing levels of limitation. And a design philosophy that GGG themselves said players would no longer accept. Oh, darn Twitch ads. I said that don't worry about it at all in terms of a level gap. If you're struggling with your build to the point where you have to redo monos for levels, that's a very big sign that your build is too weak and you need to either improve it in some way or swap to something else. But you can be like level 50 doing level 100 empowered monos, no issue. It's much more about the stats you get from your gear rather than a restrictive level-based system. So I had quite a few problems going low life because I went low life way too early. I do not advise going low life as early as I did. Yeah, Merchant's Guild, I just find it incredibly ironic that I watched the interview that Jonathan did with Zizarin, where he talked about how in the past, GGG's philosophy around trade was that you could either have good search or instant buyouts. And he then goes on to say, but looking at last Epoch, it's clear players will no longer accept this. That you must give players good search and an option for instant buyouts, even if you put restrictions on it. And Merchant's Guild has instant buyouts and terrible search. It is some of the worst search I've ever used. It's so bad. And, Yes, low life without uniques is very hard. In fact, depending on how Merchant's Guild ends up sorting out long-term, it might just be that there's certain builds that are going to kind of be flagged as not starter viable for Merchant's Guild, because you can get all the low life uniques at level 70 and it looks really good, and it's like, oh, I can easily go low life now. And it's a complete bait, because without VLP, your power just stops scaling. And then you get into like 200 corruption and you die instantly. And it's not the build's fault, to be clear. It's Merchant's Guild's fault for providing you no path to progress, which is terrible. What's the main difference between this build and the Bleed Warlock? This build is a spell build and that build is an ailment build. I may go back to Bleedlock, but honestly, if the performance issues aren't fixed, not for a while. Like, towards the end of my swap, I realized that all I really needed was a 1 or 2 LP Exsanguinous and 1 or 2 LP in a couple other places, and I'd probably be chilling. But even though I have quite a bit of that gear now, because I'm Circle of Fortune, I just don't want to deal with the performance drops. Yeah, you need to level up the Bazaar, but you level up the Bazaar so much faster if you're high corruption. Now, Circle of Fortune is way easier to get yourself geared overall. Merchant's Guild is fine if you're the sort of person who doesn't want to play past empowered monos. You're like, all right, I want to get my gear at the start. I want to put on all of my items when I hit monoliths for the first time. And then I want to have full gear and not change anything for the rest of the time playing the character. Merchant's Guild's really good for that, because you'll get that basic gear and then you won't be able to find any upgrades ever. But if you want to actually have gear progression and actually push corruption and all that, Merchant's Guild is awful. It is a literal quit the game simulator. Wait, 1 LP Cinder Song. Nah, I can do better. See, that's the thing. As COF, I'm just throwing out LP uniques that I don't need. Also, this shield's sweet. Like T6 armor, T6 health, and already block effectiveness on it. Definitely going to use that for something. Also, wait, is that T7? No, that's only T6. God, T6 block effect rolls so high. Cold res, that's probably not very useful. Fizz res is good, though. I'm just going to put all these in here and sort them later. I mean, the problem with farming as COF is you don't get a lot of the things you need. Gold is not the gate. Gold is super easy. The problem is Merchant's Guild favor and reputation. Yeah. I am very much a trade enjoyer. If you've seen any of my Path of Exile content, I'm very much a trade enjoyer, which is why it was hilarious to me that because I put a joke about Diablo 4 at the start of my Merchant's Guild video, people were saying, oh, this guy just doesn't understand how trade and ARPGs work because he's only played D4. Like, no. I made a joke about trade in D4 because it's abysmal and it's a joke. But honestly, so is a lot of Merchant's Guild right now. The only difference is trade in D4 is not fixable. Trade in Merchant's Guild is fixable. Like EHG 100% can fix all of this. I'm sure it'll be fine in the future if they want it to be. But yeah, some people probably watched my video for about 8 seconds, saw the D4 joke, and immediately ran to the comments section with a gotcha. Like, oh, I'm going to show him. Like, no. So the thing about that is, Crunk, you don't have to be Merchant's Guild to get to 2,000 corruption. I'm 100% sure MP and his group would be at 2,000 corruption regardless. That's number one. Number two, yes, there are some chess pieces that you can get for very cheap. Bina has found some very good upgrades for cheap. Dreadful's found some very good upgrades for cheap. 100%. The problem is, those were people who got to the early part of a market, before people realized that things were, worth anything, and before people could buy stuff. When I was looking, I wanted to buy a 2LP Twisted Heart of Ukaros. And I was looking at a few other things like, what's a 2LP Ghost Maker going for? What's a 4LP Ladle? 4LP Ladle, 50 to 100 mil, which, I mean, that's expensive. I don't think a 4LP Ladle is worth 50 to 100 mil, but it's fine. It's just gold. You can get gold. Gold is easy. 2LP Twisted Heart of Ukaros, you need an average of 4 of them. You're not going to be able to buy an average of 4 of them. There just weren't enough on the market. Because that's the other thing. Oh yeah, 100%. Some people are not only making do, but thriving. Because if you got in early and got to the top of that economy and picked up cheap items, you're absolutely going to do well for a while. The problem is everyone else following behind them. Merchant's Guild is a pyramid scheme right now. I mean, I guess pyramid scheme's an interesting way to say it, because that's illegal, and it's implying bad intent on the part of the people at the top. I don't think there's any bad intent of a part of the people on the top. It's just that they are ahead in the economy, and because of how everything works, gold tends to aggregate at the top. Part of the reason 50 or 100 mil for a ladle isn't unreasonable is because you'll sell something else to someone else for 50 or 100 mil. Because you're making gold easily, but then gold isn't being destroyed. And since the top farmers are the ones most likely to both be buying and selling items, they're just trading between them constantly. And so if you're trying to get into that, you either have to get really lucky and find that 1 in a million drop that one of the top players will buy from you that gives you your ticket into the economy that you can spin from there. Or you have to suffer until rank 10 and you can buy a bunch of 0 gold legendaries and have a 2,000 corruption viable character. When you say, can I get boss only drops through COF? What do you mean? Elaborate on the question. Also, why am I doing arena runs? I should not be doing arena waves. Is this what I think it is? It is. Oh, it's only 1 LP. Damn. If I was 3 or 4 LP, I would love to have one. Also, I think my filter is not strict enough because I'm seeing a lot of stuff. Like a little bit too much stuff for comfort. So I think it is time to go +1 to the strictness factor. I was trying to build up a fodder base, so I was kind of sort of just picking up everything. But I've also kind of built up a fodder base now, so I don't need to pick up everything. I just need to pick up better things. Oh wait, that's LP still. So, we go in here, recolor. I'm going to leave the recolor on the 293, recolor 55. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep grabbing some of these. Melee attack speed, just in case I play a melee build, sure. Spell damage, cast speed, spell damage. I'm going to be honest, I think I have enough spell damage or cast speed junk. Throwing stuff, yeah. Bow speed, bow crit. Oh, congrats, Pineapple. Yes, some of the unique items that drop from Firelich Cremoris are very good, which I can actually show one of those in just a second. Are these all the damage types that I want? I think I also want Necropen, so I'm actually going to add one there. Movement, yeah. Cooldown, yeah. Health recovery. Increased healing effectiveness. Nah, I think I'm going to turn that off for now. Block stuff. Also, I've built up a good base of block stuff. I'm not playing a block build right now. Bleed on hit, I'm going to keep. Ignite on hit, I'm going to keep. Shock, I'm going to turn off. Damned, yes. Frequency, shared necro. That's all good. Wandering Spirits, Transplant I don't need anymore, Spirit Plague, Profane, Chthonic Fissure, Chaos Bolts. Yeah, it looks like a pretty good list, to be honest. And then I just clone this rule for up here, because this is the same thing, but 2 T6 and 1 T7. Yes, I do know that, Hawkblade. That is very much intentional. Let's see. 2 and... Yep, that's already emphasized. Cool. Cool. That should be good. So my gut feeling is we're not going to fix Merchant's Guild for a bit, just because the game has more pressing issues, and I think the devs are very worried about making Merchant's Guild too powerful by mistake. So I expect we'll see a very gradual fix to it. I do think they'll fix it eventually. Now, personally, this is one of those should never happen things, but if today you gave me a button that says, press me, and I can magically change the Merchant's Guild however I want, right? I have a magical game dev press me button that if it existed, trust me, games would be so good. You would not believe how good games would be if devs had this magical press me button. It would be insane. Like, the best game that you've ever played in your life would be a subpar experience in compared to what devs could make. But if we go to magical, this will never happen land, the first thing that I would change is remove all rank up requirements to buy and sell, because that is just dumb. It is way, way too limiting, and it does not lead to a good experience. Second thing is I would remove the favor cost to repost an item if it's been on the market for over 48 hours. That way, if you misprice something and want to reprice it, it doesn't cost you anything, thus meaning there are less dead listings on the market. And the reason for 48 hours is to prevent nonsense and shenanigans. Number 3, I would make the search good. I would add a search bar to everything, because I don't understand why games add things that are made for console when they're not on console, and the UI is such a console-first travesty. Then third thing, I would add a system similar to Prophecies, where people can actually engage with a game and engage with a market. It would be called the bounty board. So when there's an item that's not for sale on the market at all, players can put money into a bounty pool. And you can sign up to become a bounty hunter. When you become a bounty hunter, if any item from an active bounty drops, it is automatically sold on the market. You don't even see it. You just see this giant explosion of gold on your screen. And basically, someone's bounty gets claimed and you get the money. And to prevent this from being, too abusable, players would have to put in more gold into the bounty than they get out. I.e., let's just say if you want to put a 1 mil bounty on something, you have to pay 2 mil into the system. That way, there's an actual gold sink. Yeah, it gives people things to hunt. And it's also opt-in, so if you really want an upgrade, like if you're looking to upgrade your gear and you don't want your random items blown away left, right, and center, then it works. Also, the reason I'm not putting a tax on the market as a whole is because if you put a tax on the market as a whole, that raises prices. But this system is entirely outside the pricing. No one sees it. It's invisible. And because it just generates automatically, quote unquote, it's fine to have a tax there because that tax is on the high-end players who are going to be putting these bounties up. Also, if an item is on the market and you try to put a bounty on it, it just links you to the item and it's like, here, buy this. It doesn't let you finish the bounty. Now, to be fair, that item could be absurdly expensive. That item could be 1.5 billion gold and you could never afford it. But because it's on the market, you can't put a bounty on it. And then the last thing, to fix the 1.5 billion gold lack of scarcity, there would also be a high volume trader. And the high volume trader gives you item retradability tokens. And this is for items over a certain price threshold, over a certain demand, under a certain supply. So either if so many are bought relative to other items, or there's too few relative to other items, you can do missions for the high volume trader, post stuff on the market, and get these tokens. And after a certain number of tokens, you can retrade an item that you bought. The idea here is to keep high-end items circulating slowly over time without it just being a complete free-for-all. And now I'm going to catch up with chat now that I've finished my how I would personally redesign the Merchants Guild. Let's see. Oh, do prophecies drop boss drop items was the question. No, prophecies do not, but other bonuses like increased LP chance do seem to apply to boss drops from Circle of Fortune. Am I playing at 4K 144? Nope, I am playing at 1440p 60 because you can't record over 60 and stream it, so I just lock it to 60 for frame stability. I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Van Verbus. Yes, I got Ghostmaker basically immediately. 5% crit, 4 falconry, 1 dive bomb, 4 aerial, 3 LP. That is a little unfortunate, but not terrible. It'd be so nice if that 4-1 was in fact 1-4, because levels of dive bomb are definitely the most important on Talons of Valor. I got it with the Rune of Ascendance. Which I talk about in my how I regeared after swapping for Merchants Guild. If you're Circle of Fortune, it is very easy to Rune of Ascendance into Ghostmaker. You probably won't have LP, but it's very easy, and it's even easier if you get dagger bases that are COF tagged for a chance for your rune to not be consumed. You can also farm for it, but farming for it is a little bit problematic drop-wise. So I'd actually advise, if you only need the base version, to just use all of your Ascendances. Over time, I'm also gonna probably not need to shatter these. But that'll be when I start seeing bigger numbers next to the things that I'm shattering, rather than just like 11. All right. So as you can tell, my farming is at its max efficiency right now. I don't get distracted reading chat, and I don't get distracted talking about things like the Merchants Guild. I also don't go the wrong way, ever. That never happens. My pathfinding is absolute perfection. So the thing with that Van Verbis is by the time I unlocked rank 7 in, or let's say rank 8 to keep full parity here, but rank 8 in Circle of Fortune on my first character, I had all of that and way more. That even right now, I'm rank 7 on a character that I re-rolled, meaning my progression was stunted in terms of Circle of Fortune relative to what it would be if I had just started off with this. And even right now, I have pretty good Exalted gear overall and some pretty good LP pieces. Like, this is only LP1, but it's much more powerful than a lot of LP2 things because it has the perfect mod. It has T6 Necro Res. Ghostmaker's just default. Bone Clamor I've been unlucky with. I haven't rolled this yet. I have it. I've just been lazy. There's no real reason this doesn't have an affix. This one's actually kind of hard. This is the sort of thing where it's kind of hard. This I've been trying. I'm probably going to swap off of it just because I don't think the cast speed actually does much. This is also kind of bad, and I forgot that this was this bad. This is very bad, and I forgot. Oh, God. Okay, I've paid attention to these items. Like, this is pretty sweet. This is really good. This fixes so many of the problems that I need. Ignore the LE damage. That was just me being lazy. This is also good. Ignore the crit chance. That's just me being lazy. I have so many things that I could replace here that I just haven't bothered. You know what? Maybe I should look through and see if I have any rings to actually replace, or amulets. But overall, my progression has been so much smoother. Oh, I don't. Probably because I'm not highlighting them on my filter. Wait, is this what I think it is? Oh, it is. It's a T7 Dex. Oh, it's so good. If I ever play Bleedlock again, this is going to be insane. Has so many good mods on it. Necrotic Res. Do I have any good... Ooh. I mean, I'd be losing the implicit here. But this is a sweet ring. I haven't done this in a very long time, which is definitely, if anything held my gear back, it's the fact that I haven't actually tried to upgrade it in ages. Caster build. Do I have any recommendations? What kind of caster build? See, this is super nice. This crafting base. Reroll. Crit chance. That's unfortunate. Freeze rate multi, you know? I've changed my mind. If I go back to Bleedlock, see if I can get a few more levels here. 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay. If I go back to Bleedlock, that's insane. For this, I'm going to re-roll it. Minion health. Damn it. I need the lightning res, right? Yeah, I need the lightning res, or at least I want the lightning res. I think I keep that one and re-roll or replace this one then. Attunement. My res is good. My reses are good. Well, cold and poison aren't, but we can fix that later. And replacing with 74 health, I go down to 1857. What if I do it this way? 1863, and my reses get way overkilled. Yeah, no, we're doing it the other way. Is Torment better than Bleed? I mean, context? At what? When? You thought you accidentally duplicated... yeah. Yeah, the bait dupes. I mean, overall, no. Both are extremely good. Having the extra necro res very much matters here. It's both damage and defense. So that was a nice little upgrade. I probably have more of those. I should really look through all my stashed stuff. It's been, I don't know, like a level and a half since I looked through. But the difference is, when I was playing Merchant's Guild, because I wasn't rank 8, I constantly felt like I was running up against the limit of my character's power. And right now, I feel like I'm way ahead of the curve in terms of my content. That I could easily go up to 300, maybe even 400 corruption and still be chilling. Ooh. This is a modified Torment Warlock. Don't ask how I modified it. Ooh. Okay, so I very much like the tweak to my filter. Before I go up that way, kind of want to go over here. Ooh. How did I modify it? By just not putting affixes on items because I'm too lazy to go through my stash and upgrade them right now when my build isn't struggling for anything. I've modified it to make it worse through laziness. And I'll fix it when I start dying. Any advice for not getting nuked? Oh, get good. All right, jokes aside, do you happen to know what's nuking you and what kind of build you're playing? And so I can give you a real answer. Wait, is that what I think it is? Speaking of upgrades, I think I might have just found an upgrade to unmodify my scuffed build. Cull that and just ignore the void centipedes. Wait, why am I lagging? No, let me out. I don't want to fight them anymore. Boss drops do seem like the only redeeming feature of a Merchant's Guild. But even then, it feels like it's only a redeeming feature if you're looking for specific boss drops. Shadow Cascade Blade Dancer. You have high crit avoidance and max res. How's your glancing blow chance? And also, are you a low life setup or a life-based setup? And if you're a life-based setup, how much life do you have? If you're low life, how much ward are you averaging? Oh, it's necro, not void. But I could use void and I could drop a void blessing, so that's okay. I just have to annul this because reasons. Damn it. Okay, that's fine though, because it has 50 FP. That's not good. All right. 21. Miracle Time. Necrotic Res. Void Res. Yeah, I'll do Void Res. Wait, you can't put int on this? Oh. Wait. Is this build bug-free? I have no idea. Also, as far as I know, the bleed build isn't bugged either. 10,000 ward is not that hard to get. I just assume that because the game just released, everything's bugged. And something that seems bugged free, I just don't know how it's bugged. But as long as it works, that's fine. Okay. Potential upgrade. Poof. And these are... Well, this I'm just going to save. And this I want to slam into a Twisted Heart of Ukros later. I'd probably want to slam Intin. Hey, thank you very much. Amulet. All right, I did need amulets, so this is an upgrade. I do think this build will get to 10,000 stable word once I stack more necrotic res. Basically, the amount of word I can have depends on how much necro res I have. The more I get, the more word I generate. And you'll kind of see that where in combat, my word keeps going up. Oh yeah, they're actively fixing things. It's fine. Like, some of the bugs I hope are fixed sooner rather than later, for sure. But overall, it's not that bad. And it's also the sort of thing where unless a bug is super, super egregious, it's probably fine to leave it till 1.1. Yes, glancing blow chance and also your life. Unless you're low life, in which case you're stable ward. Minion damage, crit chance. Oh, those are all bad. All right. This is COF tagged, so I can do this. Come on, LP Ghostmaker. No LP Ghostmaker. Wait, 63, 66. Better. I think that's max roll. It is. Hell yeah. All right, and this one is not COF tagged. The reason I want the COF tagged is for the chance to not eat the Rune of Ascendance. So I can keep Rune of Ascendancing. Oh yeah, the EHG community team has been super awesome, keeping everyone informed. Glancing blows 31 and your health is 1.2k. All right. So I found the two problems. You really want to get that glancing blow chance up, probably to 100%. And you really want to get your health up to like 2k. Oh yeah, the search for Merchant's Guild. I'm going to be honest. I think even if all the upgrade path issues were fixed, I still wouldn't play Merchant's Guild because the search is just so bad right now. I remember getting a good Omni, and I guess it's not Omni, it's Omnis. But anyway, Orbis Amulet. I got a good one. You know how I got it? Spending like 20 minutes pressing refresh. It's the same way I got Oshiron for 0 gold. Because I just kept refreshing and watching for people to post one for 0 gold because I knew someone was going to. And they did. And like, is that a healthy thing from a market? No. But am I going to do it so that I have the item at low levels? Yeah, because it's super broken. Who wouldn't? The passive damage on Torment Warlock, really, really nice. I very much like just running around with Wandering Spirits. Ooh. That could actually be good. Yes, I saw Tarek doing that with his word battery. And I also talked with Lucky a little bit about it. It's hilarious. That's the sort of thing that is 100% going to get bug fixed, as it should. Okay. That dagger, is it? No, it's not COF tagged. Okay. so many helmets, so many potential upgrades. Should you keep dodge? Yes, you should keep dodge. Dodge is good. Dodge is a defensive layer that gives you a chance to avoid damage. That's the thing about defensive layers. You're not really supposed to just use one of them. You're supposed to use a lot of them together. Oh, this would be such a sick upgrade if it wasn't attunement. Oh no, it's attunement though. That's so unfortunate. Actually, I don't think I need the crit avoid, right? Do I? Oh god, have I been running around crit avoid uncapped? Yeah, I have. Okay, cool. So I do need that. That's a thing to solve. I completely forgot that I took off the item I was using. Yep, no problem. I think in just a second. Ooh, T6 move speed. That's pretty nice. I kind of want to try to slam that onto my erased boots. Wait, no, not erased. What am I thinking of? Other low life boots, not the ones that got nerfed into oblivion. See, this is why I'm so glad that on the Maxwell database, you can just type words in search to like word and life now, because I can never remember the names of items. And so I'm like, oh yeah, the boots that do the thing. And I can remember the thing they do, but not the name. And so it's so much nicer to be able to search by terms that appear. Oh, last steps of a living. See, I could just type word per. Because I know there's a word per boots. All right, so I do this, and then I do one of these Orbises. Probably one of these two. We'll see if I die. We're getting to 229 corruption, which could honestly kill me, but maybe not. Best base for exploding zombie. I'll be honest, I have no idea how exploding zombie works. I have never played it. Yeah, Dive Bomb Falconer was great. I had a lot of fun with that. Admittedly, it is very broken and probably bugged, but in a very fun, awesome way. I do plan to put a little bit of a twist on this build as well. I just haven't gotten some of the items that I want to put that twist on. Oh, 2 LP Zuriels. I'll take that. It's coming very soon. Very, very soon, actually. Because now that I'm at the point where I can just farm, my progress should go much faster. How close am I? Oh, almost to rank 8. Means in a little bit here, I'm going to load up on some prophecies. Try to get, I think, helmets this time. I think 100% all in on helmets. Keep getting Blood of Exile. These are very good boots, to be honest. Like, 10 strength dex int, 30 move speed. If you get these with 2 or 3 LP, they are super strong, even if you're not a bleed build. I do YouTube full time. At least currently. That's always the thing. YouTube is very much not a stable job. So I have been doing YouTube full-time for a couple years now. So far, it's been going well. Hopefully I'm able to keep doing it. Ooh. Okay, I can stand in that. I kind of wanted to test before the boss's health got too low. Oh, this I don't think I can stand in. I'm not going to test it. My ward's not high enough right now. Because I'm pretty sure it hits for at least 3k at this point. Lure that over here. Yoink. Pretty sure I had enough word to survive that, but just in case. One thing that I'm kind of tempted to do at some point, I probably won't do it this cycle just because releveling alts is such a massive pain in this game. I'm kind of tempted to make a Bleed Falconer. Although I do have almost all the gear for Bleed Falconer on my offline Falconer, so maybe I'll just do it on that. I've already done like 4 videos talking about how a lot of those things work. I don't think there's really much more to cover there right now. Actually, no, it's only 3 videos. But yeah, I do have 3 videos explaining how a lot of those mechanics work. The only other video that I want to work on a bit, which should be out at some point, is a more advanced / comprehensive defensive guide that gets into some advanced mechanics. Get culled. Yeah, a lot of people haven't watched them, which is interesting. So if you go to my channel, check out my filter guide. That should give you the info you need. I'm gonna keep current here. I can't quite drop my void res yet, mostly because all of my void res is coming from the blessing. All right. Let's see how this goes. I suspect Orbis is at the difficulty now where he can one-shot me if I mess up. How much favor do I have? Not that much, actually. Okay. Wait. I'm going to check one more time just to make sure that I didn't miss a 0 there. Oh, god damn it. Well, there we go. One shot. Rip Gaze of Orbis. I hate how there's still so much lag in online when you're using teleport skills. Like, I have 38 milliseconds. But look at that delay. It's so bad. Ugh. That gets me almost every time on Orbis. I don't expect the lag because I was so used to playing offline. Because before 1.0, the loading screens would take 5 years off your life. And so you played offline if you had any sanity. Yeah. I really wish they'd fix that. Chaos Bolts, Intelligence, Health. Put all these in here. Wait, that's a... Oh, no, that's a relic. That's a nice relic, actually. That's a really, really good base. Ooh, grats on the 3 LP Bleeding Heart. That's good. You know, I'm gonna clear... I'm just gonna clear this out. Mostly because I've kind of heavily progressed the Echo Web anyway. So how do you currently have exalted items displayed on your filter? How are you recoloring for those? Basically, you do the same thing, but instead of selecting tier 6, you either select tier 6 times 2 or tier 7. Offline, I have quite a few 4 LPs. Online, I think I might have 1. I definitely have a bunch of 3 LPs. Oh, that was a slight mistake. All right, we're gonna not die to spooky things, please. Those mines are just scary. Okay. We can set off all the mines and be okay. Ooh. The news is, if you know you want to play Warlock, but you're not sure which one, there's really no harm in just trying a bunch of them, because it's very easy to respec. Okay, there we go. We got Bad Apathy's Maw, another 1 LP Siphon, and a 1 LP Blood Roost. Now, let's see. Do I have room for this? I think I do. I have a Liraka's Claws 3 LP. I remember selling something. Oh, 3 LP Falcon Fists too. And I think this one's pretty rare. 2 LP Wraith Lord's Harbor. I'm pretty sure the game really wants me to reroll to a minion build. Oh, look, that's 3 LP. I say it really wants me to reroll to a minion build because it has given me a Herald of a Scurry that's really well rolled and a Wraith Lord's Harbor that's 2 LP. And it's like, why are you giving me all the good minion items? I'm not playing a minion build game. I'm not going to do it even if you try to ask me really nicely and bribe me. Okay, I guess it depends on how well it bribes me. But so far it hasn't tried hard enough. We'll see when that 4 LP Herald of Scurry drops. Ooh. Maybe I shouldn't face tank. I think I'm at the difficulty level where face tanking will start to get me killed. Grand Thief's Cache. Well, those are spooky bugged animations on the ground. Okay. I was actually kind of tempted. Ooh, helmets. 1 LP Wraith Lords. Decayed Skull, Snowblind, and then 2 unLP'd Bone Clamors. Gel Cores is a very common item, so it doesn't surprise me that you have a bunch with LP. Very, very common item. The more common an item, the easier it is to get with LP. Like, I don't know exactly the odds offhand, but it wouldn't surprise me if you can get like 10 of those for every 1 Ghostmaker. Elirez Fizzres. What do I actually need here? Fizz res. Right? I need a Fizz res. And then poison or cold. What sort of gambling do I do? Glyph of Despair might be okay, but I'm not that invested in this. So I don't know, let's chaos this. All right, Ellie res, that's fine. See, I can't really give up the Fizz without getting Fizz elsewhere, though. So now this is where we try to Despair. Cool, we hit it. I am about to hit rank 8 in Circle of Fortune. All right, let's see how this goes. We'll see if we blow through all the forging potential. We blew through all the forging potential. So bad news is, this isn't an upgrade. Good news is, if I get something like a 1 LP Omnis, kind of okay to throw at it. I wouldn't waste it on that. Or I wouldn't waste a 1 LP on that. I'd use it for a 1 LP or a 2 LP of a more common thing. Like a Bleeding Heart. Actually, a Bleeding Heart with 2 or 3 LP would be sweet for that. Yeah, so I originally started Merchant's Guild on this character because I wanted to try it. It was a terrible experience. Yeah. Have a whole video on how terrible of an experience it was. And so as a result, I kind of had to re-roll. You can't take the level 100. What do you mean by that, Mitch? I mean, Mad Alchemist will give you a chance to bleed. Because I'm pretty sure it has a chance to ignite on it. Actually, wait, maybe it doesn't. In which case, it won't really do very much. If I got a good Mad Alchemist, I might try it in this build. But it'd have to be a really good one. Ooh. Bloody Nib. What build are you playing? Because if you're level 86, you should, on most builds, be able to completely destroy empowered monoliths. But my first question is, what build are you playing? Second question is, what faction are you playing? Right. Patrolling Infernal Husk. I think this is just an objective rush. This is totally just an objective rush. I mean, Wraithlord's really strong. You know, arguably that would be a better base. Is Thorn Totem good? Yes, Thorn Totem is good. Void Res. That's a lot of Void Res. You know, even though I'm not particularly looking for that. Okay, so you're a hit-based, like Chthonic Fisher / Curse Warlock. And do you feel like your damage is low, or do you feel like your defenses are low? I'm guessing you're having Chaos Bolts trigger the Rip Blood, then Transplant's mostly defensive. Mana Sustain. Yeah, a lot of people have run into Mana Sustain. You kind of just have to get used to which spells you're casting. So asking the question twice is not going to increase the odds of me answering it. In fact, it's going to reduce it. Just saying. I died. Okay. You rerolled the level 100 Warlock. Yep. Online is much smoother now. Or you rerolled from your level 100. Okay, if you have +4... Oh, wait, why are we doing Arena? That makes a good bit of sense then, Pineapple Fairy. I'm going to just go a different way, because I don't feel like going through the Brick Drought. Why curse for Bone Prison? That's the better question. It matters a little bit because different paths will get you different distances from the center and thus more or less stability. Damage is a little bit low now. But I can't quite swap to the thing I wanted to try yet, which is unfortunate. I think I just need to spam my Spirit Plague more, to be honest. That'll fix a lot of my damage issues, because I get a whole bunch of base. All right, welcome back. I was saying if you have it on the chest, that makes sense. It's just a little unfortunate from a stat efficiency perspective. But also, 2 LP Talents is pretty common, so you'll probably get more later, and it'll be fine. I mean, you can do them all, but it's very time inefficient to do that. It is more value per unit of time spent to just do the best ones and move on. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, even at Circle of Fortune, I got two or three, I think three 3LP Talons of Valor, and so many 2LP that I just kind of stopped paying attention. Oh, spine build. I don't know much about the spine builds. I know at one point Lizard was going to play one, but then I think he died, and so we rerolled. It's one of those on my list of things to take a look at some point. But I don't know too much about their mechanics. The best remedy for getting unlucky with gear is either targeting it with a prophecy or just getting into higher corruption so more drops happen. Because that increased item rarity just keeps stacking and stacking. So your loot at 500 corruption will be infinitely better than your loot at 200 corruption, for example. Morning Frost is very common, Barbell. You just got to play more. Maybe use a Rune of Ascendance. But that's not something that's a super rare drop or anything that you have to go specially out of your way for. Just play and it'll drop. If you're COF, do Boot Prophecies. You get Twisted Heart from the boss in Reign of Dragons. And I recommend farming him on the highest corruption you can. He's a little bit of a beefy boy, but he has very easy patterns. Some items, there are little tricks you can do. Other items, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective, it's just, you gotta play more. Gotta just keep trying and it'll happen eventually. Nope, there's no EXP penalty. There's an EXP penalty if you're doing high-level monos below level 50, but after level 50, no penalties. Yeah, EHG is telling you to play minions. They're telling me to play minions too. I got a 2 LP Wraithlord and an almost perfect Herald of Scurry. I feel like you're trolling there, Ares. Mostly because you're asking if it's any good, and if you got one, you definitely wouldn't be asking that. Oh, those are some disappointing amulets. Man, the game just doesn't want me to have a good one. Maybe I should just plan around Omnis. At that point, it almost seems more achievable than these random ones. Drops affix shards. Okay. Yes. Omnis is one of the endgame chase items. It's incredibly rare, valuable, and powerful. It's kind of like Mage Blood, actually, if you've played PoE. I mean, how is your bleed lock doing, Darren? If you're not struggling, I don't think there's any reason to swap, unless you just prefer the playstyle. It is a much less active playstyle on Torment. No. Dead ends are dead ends. I suspect this is an ambush, so I'm going to just do a little murder here. Though, these guys are somewhat spooky. It's fine. Yep. I knew it was an ambush. Alright. I'm going to deal with you first. And torment this guy up. Perfect. Echo conquered. On to the next one. Yes, it is a bunch of res, but what it does for your build is allow you to replace all your suffixes with higher value stuff, which is very, very similar to what you'd do on something like a Mage Blood build, where because it gives you res and also skill levels, it opens up your suffixes. Yeah, I know what you mean, Pineapple. That's why I don't go there anymore. So you should look in the game guide and look at what bleed does. What do you mean by so different? Whoa. Whoa. That was slightly spooky. All right, I'm gonna have to pay attention in here for a second. Let's see here. Yes, I have a loot filter enabled. All res. All right. Shatter that. There would be way more garbage appearing on the floor if I did not. Oh, did I do this? Yeah, I did. Okay, let's fix. There we go. Fixed. You know, it's actually a really good belt. Oh, yes, that's an intentional choice. The audio is missing because on YouTube, copyright claims are a very problematic thing, and they happen in real time. And as for the reason there's no camera on YouTube, it's because it's much easier to watch something after the fact without my face being there. Basically, one is tailored to one audience and the other is tailored to the other audience. Necrotic damage? Cool. Health and stun avoid. You know what? I'm just gonna bump that up. It's not ideal, but it's not terrible. 5. I'm gonna leave the fizz kind of dead. I'll bump it. But if I hit that, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna keep this because this is a decent fodder for an immolators, but only a 1 LP immolators. Yep, I tailor my streams a little bit to the platform that I'm streaming to, basically. Which means on YouTube, it's much more about making something that's a good watching experience later. And on Twitch, it's about something that's a good watching experience in the moment. Yes, I would very much recommend this. Well, okay. If you are not in monoliths yet, I would not recommend this to you as a starter build. You definitely want to be in monoliths before you swap over to this stuff. But if you're in monoliths, yeah, it's very good. But between leveling as this / Necrodot or leveling as bleed, 100% level as bleed, it is way faster, way smoother, way easier. And then swap over to this once you get to like level 70-ish. Or if you get all the key pieces before 70, you can swap a bit earlier. Because this works really well with little to no gear. And in early monos, you don't even need the like self-ignite part. You can just drop that. Also, 98. Wonder if I'll hit 100 on stream. Nah, it's a long way off. But I am very close to rank 8 in the Merchants Guild. Going to be very, very nice. Wait, not Merchants Guild. No, Circle of Fortune. Nope, we are in the good one, not the bad one anymore. Ignore me. I don't know. Do you want to play a Warlock or a Falconer? So I have 24k favor. Oh, wait, never mind. I'm not. Oh, I thought I was higher. Oh, no. I'm actually only almost at D7. Well, whatever. It's fine. I think I have enough that I can just barely, if I use all my favor, get to T7 here. Level up his bleed and then swap it 70-ish. Yes. That's exactly what I did. Well, kind of what I did. I like Warlock. It's been fun. And right now I want helmets. Do I have a helmet lens? I don't. Okay, we're going to go buy a helmet lens. Yep, no problem. And there we go. Let's go back here. Swap one of these. Uh-oh. That took a little bit. Age of Winter, kill Hierot. I don't really want to kill Hierot. There's already a build guide, but I will be making a video. Deaths of rare enemies. Temporal Sanctum, kill Julra. All right. All right. I wonder if we go in and we just gamble. Let's see. Elder Gaspar. I don't really want to fight Elder Gaspar. Formosus. Do I want to go fight Formosus? I don't think I have a corruption to do that. Abomination, no. But you know what? I could grab some boots. That's fine. T3 Soulfire. I have to do that at some point anyway. Probably not going to do it for a bit. Fall of the Outcasts, Abomination. Rare enemy. I'll get that. It is very easy to play Torment Warlock. I should probably go do a Lightless Arbor. Because that's a lot of helmets. You know what? Gloves? Sure. Might as well get another Malin's Hubris. Haha! T7 affixes are twice as common. Now I need 500,000 rep to rank up. And what did I need to do for these prophecies? I do wish. Why is there no search bar here? Belt is T3 plus, I'm pretty sure. Ideally, you should farm T4 if your build can do it, though. Soulfire, any dungeon, Temporal Sanctum, Lightless Arbor, any dungeon, any dungeon. You know what? I'm going to save the Soulfire for later. But I'm going to do these two. Starting with Arbor. I don't know what level I've unlocked for Arbor. I mean, I should probably do that, Crunk. I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, tier 3. Sure. Need to unlock tier 4. So, let's go. I don't think that the LP system is something that GGG needs to implement because they already have an LP system. It's called Corruption. And it's called Synthesized Implicits. See. You know what? I'll pick up a 2 LP fighting chance. No, stop hitting me. I don't want to lose my light right now. I'm just trying to murder stuff. Let me chill and murder stuff. Yeah, arena blockers are quite good. Ooh. Let's see. Another Wraith Lord's Harbor. Snowblind 1 LP, Erased 13, Erased 12, Stormhide, Fighting Chance. None of those really interest me, though. I don't know. I should probably be grabbing the Snowblinds just to have them, but for only 1 LP, and I don't really see myself using a 1 LP Snowblind, so I'm just going to, you know, move on. Now we go through the middle, then we go through one more area, then we fight the boss, and hopefully I don't fail at fighting the boss and get smacked. If I don't get smacked, then we're good. I would say yes. If you're already Merchant's Guild and looking to re-roll, the smoothest experience will be starting a new character of Circle of Fortune. That way you don't have the feels bad moment of having to take off all your gear. But also, re-gearing with Circle of Fortune is pretty fast. So if you're enjoying your current build and you want to keep pushing gear and all that, it's not the end of the world to just keep pushing with it. Just make sure that you have a base 100 corruption area to play around with until your gear gets good. There's a lot more usable unique items than people give them credit for, especially with good corruptions or good double corruptions. Ooh, strength and health. Bad health, but still health. Because the thing is, 95%, or whatever the actual number, because I don't think it's really 95%, but a large number of uniques in PoE were not useless when PoE was this young. In fact, I think corruptions were being added to PoE roughly when it was Ellie's current age. But there's also synthesized implicits, which fill very much the same role, just not for uniques. And then the question is, would it have been better for synthesis implicits to not exist? And from the perspective of keeping corruption special and powerful, yes, absolutely. But from the perspective of making for interesting choices, no, not really. I do think corruptions could be buffed. And on certain item slots, like helmets, made a little more interesting, where there's only a couple that you actually want. But overall, I don't think there's a need to replace corruptions with an entirely new system just because Last Epoch has it. PoE already has a system for that. I'd rather see GGG spend time improving the corruption system than replacing it. All right, let's go. Let's see if I can do the fight without getting bonked. I'm not very good at this fight, and the online delay makes it much harder. Proceed. Oh, okay, made it out of that. Oh, I got hit by that. Well, the good news is I survived it. The bad news is I got hit by it. Oh. Now I grab this. Now I come over here. No. Okay. And I think I can just tank stuff here. I think it's fine. I should have waited for that to reset. Let's see. Yeah, people love corruption gambling. And people even more love deterministically replacing their gambas with surefire shots. I got hit by that. I'm very bad at this fight, mostly because I've never put in the effort to learn it. Minus a couple of very basic patterns. One of these days, I'll actually put in the time to learn it, probably when I actually need one of these items. Soul Feast. I mean, that's handy if I ever go for a Soul Feast build. All right. Yeah, you would never do anything like that, Pineapple Fairy. Adds a chest, except. Adds a unique item. Sure. Adds a chest, okay. Adds many runes, all right. Adds a glyph of despair. I could use some glyphs of despair. All chests drop more. Meh. Duplicates all unique items from every chest. You know what? Let's see what kind of explosion this even gives. Rune of Ascendance for 600,000. This is totally not worth it. I should not click the accept button here. So I'm not going to. Affix shards. Okay. That's an idle. Max mods. So I spent a lot. Way too much. Like a mil. And this is what 1,000,000 gold gets you in the Lightless Arbor, which is why it is not an effective gold sink. Let's see. Crit multi. Ooh. Could be an upgrade. Damage over time on a damage over time staff. 1 LP Decayed Skull. Then an Endurance Mage Relic that is not on a base that I particularly care about, but I'll pick up just in case. If anyone's wondering, was what I did worth it? No. Very much no. Oh no. What have I done? I see what I've done. Have to be really careful of doing this because it makes it very hard to organize long term. Okay, I fixed it. I'm going to keep that Soul Feast. And I'm going to try to roll this. I don't think I need Fire Res. I mean, Fire Res would be nice to have. Do I just Glyph of Despair it? Nope. Okay. Fine. Chaos it is for the rest. Poison Res. You know, not terrible. See if I can get any crit successes. 2, 3, 4. All right, for all 4, I want Necro Res for sure. I think that's probably an upgrade, honestly. Might you be using a certain very well-known bug right now? I'm suspecting the answer is yes. I will figure out what I'm actually going to do in the Temporal Sanctum when I get there. What tier do I feel comfortable with? Because I'm bad at the Jewelra fight. I don't know. I feel comfortable right now in this build with tier 2. Because tier 3, I'm not 100% sure if a dot will just insta-kill me or not. So I'm going to do tier 2. I don't think I really need that many. Oh, I'll probably just run this through. So even tier 1 would be fine. But we're going to do tier 2. Yep. I haven't messed with it yet because I'm not at the point where I really need to. I suspect it's going to get fixed soon. So I would say enjoy it while it lasts. Well, prophecy fulfilled. Advent of the Erased. Good old erase boots. Equivalent to tier 16 maps. Are we talking about tier 16 maps just like as a baseline when you first get there? Or are we talking about 100% delirious tier 16 maps with Wandering Path? Because just tier 16 maps when you get there is probably 100 corruption. But if we're talking about 100% delirious tier 16 Wandering Path maps, I don't know, 1,000 corruption? They get pretty nasty, let me tell you. But just for entry level, when you hit empowered monos. Can I go through here? Damn it. Blocked. Oh no, double blocked. My time control powers are not helping me. They're supposed to solve all of my problems by magically letting me through barriers. Wait, I'm not supposed to do that. I have no idea if there's a bug with a Flame Wraith passive. I've never played Flame Wraiths. And I'll be honest, with other things like Herald of Scurry in the game, I'm probably not going to for a while. But if I play a minion build, it's going to be a Herald of Scurry build. But with 1.0, a lot changed in the game, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were bugs. Best thing to do would be file a bug report, which I think is done via the official forums. Or if you're online, I'm pretty sure you can do a bug report directly in-game, which is awesome. I've only ever used the in-game one. Though the last time I did it was at the very start of 0.9. I don't know if you can have Flame Wraith Lords. I actually don't know if that interaction's even possible. Okay, good. They kept it. I'm glad they kept it. Having an in-game bug report is great. I'm sure Necro's pretty good if you're a minion enjoyer. I'm just not much of a minion enjoyer. Like, I know I have the Wraiths right now, but the Wraiths are literally just there because they're not part of my build. I'm just using a very good unique item that gives me a lot of necrotic damage, but happens to give me Wraiths occasionally. You can think of it as Wraiths Plus, or free Wraiths. They don't do very much, but they're free Wraiths, so I'm not going to complain. I could see a mini boss at a midway point. I don't know though. Right, let's see if I timed this right. I did. Cool. All right, this is the can't move part, so I'm just gonna swap zones and deal with these real quick. Do that, and kill her. I'm getting better at this fight. I've heard that from quite a few people, that they find either the base from Path of Exile or Torchlight Infinite to be better endgame-wise. I think the main difference is endgame in Last Epoch is not really about the content you do. It's about the gear that you wear. That your end game is much more about progressing your build. Whereas in Path of Exile and Torchlight Infinite, both have added a lot of content because a lot of the end game is about what you're doing. You progress your build to do the content rather than you do the content to progress your build, which is a fundamental difference in design philosophy. I do think for a lot of people, you do the content to progress your build is less satisfying than you progress your build to do the content. Wait, this is just a straight upgrade, isn't it? 5988. I don't know, that's a lot. I'm going to say it's an upgrade. So, belt. Where are my belt fodder? Increased health. You know what? It's a 1 LP. I think this is a good thing to slam into a 1 LP. Let's find out. Mana regen. The most useless stat. The only stat that I didn't want to hit. Alright, I'm going to have to farm Fire Lich later. Oh, if you're at 370, you're fine. Something to keep in mind about Last Epoch is there's an insane top end to builds. So like you can feel hard stuck at 370 and feel bad about it because the people running around at 1,000 are like someone running around with their full mirror tier tornado shot character just blasting everything, and you go, wait, my build's shit in comparison. It's so slow and it doesn't do damage and it doesn't fill the screen with projectiles. Well, yeah, your build also costs 1/1000th of that. And like, I'm not saying it's bad to be a 1,000 corruption blaster. I'm just saying you shouldn't compare yourself to that. The only time it would be bad is if someone's 1,000 corruption blaster and they're like, oh yeah, this is easy. Anyone can do this on any build in like 5 minutes. No. You need a good build and you need a general idea of what you're doing. I do think getting to 1,000 corruption, if you're someone who's willing to be a spike and just play the meta or play something strong, is very much achievable over the course of a cycle by most people who pick up Last Epoch. But it is not easy. It takes effort. You have to go out of your way. You have to say, my goal is to do this. I'm going to accomplish that. It will not just happen passively unless you are playing a very bugged build, in which case maybe it will happen passively. At least until your build gets bug fixed, and then it won't happen anymore. That's fine. Getting to 1,000 corruption passively. So for example, Pineapple, if you on Dive Bomb did word battery stuff, you just get to 1,000 corruption, because what can kill you through 70,000 permanently instantly recharging ward? You know, I should have actually been looking at my screen. I was not. Although my poison res is capped, so that's just damage being ridiculous. Poison damage is a bit overtuned right now, especially from the Hydra bursts. That's just a thing that happens. Oh, dying to poison is just a thing. At least if you're not paying attention. If you're paying attention, maybe not quite as much. Apex of Thought, Decayed Skull. I really shouldn't be looking at these. Oh, another Bone Climber. 60. Ooh. Upgrade. Go away, other Bone Climber. Get Moonspire low, cull it, and move on. I don't know that I even need to do this part. So I'm looking for some more Malin's Hubris here. Ideally one with 2 LP. which means sadly we are doing arena waves, which is not very fun because it's arena waves. Basically, right now I'm just ping-ponging between farming gloves and farming helmets, because I want 2 LP for both Maelins and Barboot. And so far I've missed every slam on every Barboot. And neither is that rare. Like, both are very achievable farms. But I don't have either of them yet. So now I'm trying for 2 LP Maelins. Though I'll also have to get a really good base, because I really don't want to miss the slam on a 2 LP and get absolutely nothing. What I want to slam it into is a base that is good enough that I only have a 50-50 shot of bricking it. Because it's rare enough that I don't think you really want to mess around with it. So it'd be something like damage over time, intelligence, hybrid health, necro res. Yeah, something like that. Let's see. Maelin Hubris 1 in 22. Oh, 1 in 22 is actually not that bad. It's not a terrible 2 LP chance. Oh. Locate the sun gate. All right, gotta zoom. Not gonna kill mages because I don't really care about ladle right now. Mostly because even if I can get the 2 LP ladle and make a better ghost maker, at that point I'm better off just farming for an actual ghost maker. Standing all of the fire. Whee! Fire fun. Dagger. Daggerath's Claw. Gloves. Both bad. But it's okay, because we're heading to the next glove location. And also, while doing this, I'm... Wait, is the lightning rest beneficial right now? I mean, kinda. But I should probably just fix my lightning rest on gear. In a second, I'll have enough stability to do Lagon. And I'll do Lagon in the funniest possible manner. Nope. I think something interesting dropped behind me, but... Oh, face tanking that. Cool. Hey! Welcome on in. I'm glad you enjoy the content. Oh. Let's be a little careful here. While I can face tank quite a bit on this setup, there's also quite a bit that I can't face tank. Especially since I get a little less word gen now that I've gone self-ignite. But I have so much more damage that it's absolutely worth it. Just means you have to be a little careful when the trees are trying to kill you. Like, this tree is just trying to murder me. It's blocking my view. Want to buy a rotatable camera, please? Except, not really, because here's the thing about fixed camera games versus rotating camera games. If you could rotate the camera, then you'd have to see the other side of this tree. This tree doesn't have an other side. That there's no reason to render textures like that unless an object is viewable from that perspective. So a lot of things just don't get rendered, which saves a ton of resources. Like if you could go under this area right now, it'd probably just be gray box because there's no reason to render the under the map. No one can ever see it. It's not like you can just jump off. Whee! And so adding a rotational camera, massive amount of work. Oh. Yeah, then there's people who just do that. So back in the day when I played World of Warcraft, I remember that abusing a glitch like that was something people did a lot because there's an area called Under Orgrimmar that you could get to below the main Horde city by glitching through the floor. And it wasn't really built out in a full way, but it was partially built out. It was like Blizzard had plans to make something beneath Orgrimmar. They never quite finished those plans. And so, yeah, you could just glitch yourself into Underorg and hang out. Now, I remember a lot of people used to do that. It was a cool place to be in the city. The other cool place was a fishing spot, because of course it was. Liraka's claws, and it looks like it did duplicate there. It's just the other thing was bad. Yeah, there's under a lot of places in WoW, which I'd imagine is true of many old games. You can just kind of see the jank. Or how in WoW, you used to be able to glitch your way to GM Island, and then GMs would actually ban you for it. Back when WoW had GMs, as opposed to GM robots that just give canned replies on the tickets. I think I'm getting close to the number of Ignite weapons that I need. Because I wanted to have a few, but I don't need to leave them on my filter forever. Because I'm only going to use them if I go back bleed. And I don't know that I'm going back bleed. But having a few is nice. Ooh. Hello. That's a nice idol. Think I'll take it. Drop this one, because this one's real bad. At some point, probably soon, I should spend a bunch of favor, dump it all into idols, idol prophecies. Oh, it's an arena. All right, we're going to go this way then. Right. Yeah, farming on Torment Warlock's been really, really chill. Because you get so much passive damage. You can put out a Chthonic Fissure, just run. Just watch things die. Or a Spirit Plague and watch it spread. Then watch things die. And no, watching things die isn't morbid. That's what Warlocks do. It's natural, okay? Why do I feel like this is an ambush? But I just need to kill a few guys here. We'll find out. I know I have kind of an ambush meter in my head when this takes a while, because usually you tend to find the area much faster than this. See? Called it. Told you it was a trap. Oh, that was almost bad. I shouldn't stand in all the fire. Who knew? Standing in all the fire is bad. Actually, I don't know if the fire was the problem. I think it might have been the poison, to be completely honest with you. But either way, standing in stuff is bad. Don't do that. Or do. It's not like I can stop you. Another arena? Aw. I think one of the next things I'm going to farm after I'm happy with my helmet and gloves is I'm going to fight a bunch of Reign of Dragons guy. Get a better Twisted Heart. Because I'm pretty sure 1 LP Twisted Heart isn't that hard to farm. It's just like 2 and 3 LP that it gets to Nightmare Hellscape levels. LP is Legendary Potential, which means your ability to add affixes from a exalted item onto your unique. If you want to know more details, check out my How to Craft a Legendary video. I don't think I should be face tanking those. But also it's not going that badly, so maybe it's fine. Harvest stuff. Probably going to turn some of the harvest stuff off soon. I wanted to have a few harvest things, but... Ooh. Wait. I don't think that's that good, but it's 2 LP, so I'll pick it up. One, not enough points. 2, too much lag. I tried cold conversion for a bit. It made the game unplayable. Pretty sure I mentioned that in the video. Or maybe it was one of the earlier videos when I swapped off of it. I'm glad you're liking the Warlock. It's a very, very strong class. Are you feeling a little paranoid about the Wraith Lord drop rate? I'd say I'll see myself out, but no, this is my home. I'm staying here. I get to make all the bad jokes I want. You know, even though I don't really need mana regen gear, I think I'll pick that one up just because it's a Praetorian belt that's well rolled. Yes, if you have a +4 and the lag is manageable, go for it. It's entirely possible with a hotfix that they actually fixed the lag stuff. I just haven't tested because I've been playing a different character. At that point, it's a good idea because you get a little bit extra in terms of scaling options. Although I will say most of your damage comes from generic scaling. So unless you have like cold damage on a Troakas or something, instead of whatever on a Zuriel's, it's not too big of a deal. Also means you could freeze things more. That's always good. Freezing is always good. It's just that I value double-digit frames over freezing enemies. And that's why I didn't do it. Oh yeah, 2 LP Firestarter's Torch, awesome item to use while leveling. You'll always have a good time leveling with a 2 LP Firestarters. Ooh, give me those gloves. Oh, it's for strength too. Hell yes. Not going to use them on this build, I don't think. But I don't know. That's a funny thing. If you go Cleaver Solution, you can 100% make a version of this build that strength stacks, which defensively would be insane. Because you get so much armor from that. Offensively, lackluster. I would say the problem with Cleaver Solution here is it would massively cut your damage output. Locke's treating me good now that I'm Circle of Fortune. Yeah, I really like the bow version because it has super high quality of life. Now, the trap version, to be fair, works a lot better if you have low gear or no gear. Playing the trap version early would have been a good idea. I didn't do it, but it would have been a good idea. However, when you have the gear and you can off-screen stuff with impact trigger, it feels awesome. It just means you're a little squishier because you don't get the dusk shrouds. Because 40 times 0 is still 0. As for how long will cycles in Last Epoch last? Unknown for now. I think they've said in the past they plan to do around 3 months. But honestly, like the only company that right now is managing to largely perfectly stick to their intended plan is Blizzard with D4. And it is, I think, reflecting in the fact that the D4 seasons have a lot less content that is a lot easier to produce. So I would say cycles would hopefully be when EHG has enough content together to make it good. That's when the new cycle should come in. Now, if that's every 4 months and they can sustain that, cool. If it's every 2 months, well, that's a little bit fast, but sure. And if it's every 6 months, that's fine with me. I'd rather the cycle content be meaningful, like new classes, new end game systems, etc., than well, we reskinned something. Yep, that's the route that I went as well, BMW. And it went really well for me. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll be honest, with how many live service games there are in the ARPG market, it's going to be really interesting to see if No Rest for the Wicked follows that trend and Titan Quest 2 follows that trend. I don't know enough about if Titan Quest 2 has announced anything with this, but I almost think there's a bigger market emerging for non-live services than live services, because people are only going to bounce between so many live services. And there's only so many that you can give your attention to before they start cannibalizing each other, or before it's like a 1 week game. You need to fill the stability bar enough to fight the boss, but after that, there's no specific reason to fill it all the way to 1600 now. See, on the one hand, people's like consumption of content in live service games is absolutely voracious. There are people who are like, oh, the live service cycle's 3 months. And then you look over at like Honkai Star Rail and all the gacha games where the live service cycle's like 9 days. And people are still like, give me more content. I want more of it. I just want to download it and inject it into my veins. And so, yeah. When it comes to Blaster and Marksman, Volko would really be the person to ask. How good are you? Like, if you're good at the game, I do think it's a build that'll push extremely high. If you're not great at dodging stuff, I think you'll end up running into survivability issues, because at the end of the day, it is a Marksman build, and it's not really going to face tank at high corruption. So there are no additional bonus loot things for filling the bar. The bonus loot comes from higher corruption. So, yeah, people are kind of voracious. Me personally, I'm going to be honest, I'd actually rather new ARPGs don't go for the live service model for a lot of them. Because the live service model has a 50-50 chance to backfire. Or maybe a 75-25 or 80-20. Like, just look at Wolcen and how badly setting a lot of their core stuff up as a live service completely backfired when the game was not in a good state at launch, where it gives you this pit. You have to keep digging the pit, go deeper and deeper and deeper to get out of the pit, but you're probably never going to reach the other side of the earth. You're never actually going to escape. And so, yeah. Yeah, the offline mode was very refreshing for Last Epoch, where even though it has live service elements, you can play it without the live service. That 100% saved the launch for me, because I did not want to deal with server issues. I've dealt with server issues with many other games. I didn't want to do it again. And so I would actually like to see more games support stuff like that and focus on the gameplay experience over just bread and circuses through infinite number go bigger content. Like, I'm going to be honest. If after 1 or 2 cycles, EHG said, all right, we're at 1.3 and we think our game's in a good spot, there's going to be no new content for 8 months to a year, and then there's going to be an expansion. I don't know, call it Last Epoch Legend of the Void Hunter. And it adds a new Void-themed caster. And all sorts of new things, a new echo, all that. That'd be great. I'd be totally down for that. I don't mind waiting extra time if it means that there's good content that can't be developed in 3 months. Now, that said, they don't necessarily have to take that break. Path of Exile does that kind of thing. No new classes, because that's not really GGG's deal, but new builds through skills and archetypes 100%. They have those big expansions, and they're awesome. So you can do it as part of a live service model, but it's hard. Like, I do not think people give GGG enough credit for just how incredibly streamlined their live service production pipeline is. Much bigger companies are struggling very hard to follow that model. And so it kind of reminds me of, well, to go back to the question earlier of seeing people blasting 1,000 corruption builds, GGG is the aspirational content of ARPG game dev. I mean, you don't have to worry about that in terms of either Last Epoch or Path of Exile. That's not how Tencent works. They don't care. Ooh. I don't think I need that mod, despite it being pink. So I think I'm going to Ascendance that dagger. All right, open portal. That's the thing. It's not like these games all appeal to the same people. There's plenty of people who will play PoE who are never going to play Last Epoch in their life. And if asked why, they'll be like, game isn't good. There's people who play Last Epoch who will never play PoE. And if they try it, they'll hate it. Now, if a game's audience overlaps too closely, that might be a problem. I don't know that GGG is ever going to release a PoE 1 and a PoE 2 league on top of each other. That seems kind of bad. Because a lot of the same people who like and play PoE 1 are probably going to like and play PoE 2. Wait, is that T? No, that's T6. I don't need that. But as long as your overlap isn't super high, there's actually plenty of room for things to coexist. Turns out game dev is not a zero-sum game. Right, and we've got a Fulgurite shard. That is unfortunate. And it even ate Maroon. I should check helmets and daggers. Are there any other daggers that I don't need? Fizz damage, I want that one. Ignite on hit, I want that one. Fizz damage, sure. Oh. Ew. I don't need that one. That one I do want. Damage over time I want. Cast speed? I mean, I should at least try to craft these, but I don't think I'm keeping either one. Melee attack speed. On a good melee base. No, it's not though, C2. Why would that matter to a company like Tencent? All right, well, we're keeping that one now because it hit necro damage. Mana and mana regen, poison damage, cold damage. Okay, this one gets ascended. Oh. Wait, it didn't have a requirement. I shouldn't have done that. I lost my 50-50. Whoops. I mean, that's like saying that Microsoft is going to break stuff because they own too many franchises and too many games now. And so they're going to intentionally force developers to take times off and not release content when it should come out and leave people waiting. There's no financial incentive for them to do that. Okay, that's kind of a mess. Now, if the only companies that Tencent or Microsoft owned were the companies in competition, that might be a problem, which is why it's bad that Sony has basically bought every anime streaming service. Oh, none of these have a tag. I need... Oh, here we go. Here's a tag. Yeah, I don't really need that one. I mean, every company wants to own all your time. There's nothing new with that. They want to own it in different ways, some of which are healthier than others. They all want to own all your time. Hell, Twitch and YouTube want to own all your time. Good luck, Pineapple. If you're not good at a game, I would recommend a tanky build for pushing. Or something like Frostbite Swarmblade that just freezes everything. Torment Warlock's pretty chill. It's reasonably tanky. Doesn't require much gear. I would generally avoid rogue builds. They tend to be a little bit more skill intensive. What else? Healing Hands Paladin's pretty good. Almost anything on Primalist is really tanky and good. Mage, if you're Rune Master, it can work. If you're Sork or Spellblade, I would not particularly advise those. Because Sork requires... Sork just needs some help. It's not a very good class at the moment. Or Mastery. Rune Master, while very strong, is a little bit more skill intensive than some of the other things, but still not that bad with some builds, like a Frostclaw, not bad at all. Whereas a Runic Invocation, you'd need to pay more attention. And then Spellblade, yeah, have to know low-life mechanics to do well on it. It really only shines with low-life, because it's kind of a low-life class. It's really, really good, though. All right, let's go fight Lagon. I've definitely not been stalling for time, just doing random echoes here. Now, I'll show you a fun way to fight Lagon. This is what they don't want you to know about. You can come over here. This is to prevent people from getting stuck / locked out in multiplayer. You'll notice all the very engaging mechanics that I'm doing here. I think that one-shots me. Gonna port out of that. Self-ignite a bit. If you enjoy hardcore, I cannot help you. The only recommendation I can make for hardcore is play offline. Well, it looks like I managed to get the pattern. Well, good luck. This part is actually quite easy as long as you're not too fast, because you just walk in a circle and the waves spawn in front of you. And unless you're too fast, they literally can't ever hit you. It's very nice. Well, spam, spam, spam. Stack up that damage bonus. Do this. Oh, nope. Get out of there. Again, that will probably one-shot me. I don't know for sure. Oh! I don't think that's supposed to hit through that. I'm pretty sure I was immune there. Unless that's undodgeable for some reason. Oh. All right. I can do this and cull him and good. Loot filter for my dive bomb build. I have one that unless you are very geared, you cannot use. How geared are you? Word retention health. That might be good. Oh, it's identical to one I already have. Best source of flat life on a rogue. In general, it's not about getting flat life. It's about getting percent life. So something like a T7% life on your chest or T7 hybrid flat and percent life on your belt and gloves. 1 second. Let me change the OST quickly. There we go. That'll be good farming music. Hey, welcome on in. I'm good. How are you doing? Just doing some chill farming here, which involves bullying Lagon a bit. And now I think I'm going to go back to, where was it for helmets? Black Sun, maybe? Might be Black Sun. Yep, Black Sun. Back to farming some helmets. And maybe bullying Rye soon. Oh. Yeah, I did recognize you coming in. I'm bad at saying stuff like that. Unfortunately, no VOD of me playing No Rest for the Wicked. I would have loved to, unless I missed the email, I was not given an opportunity. But I'm a huge fan of Ori and the Blind Forest. If they reach out, I will 100% say yes immediately to play it. I'm very excited for it. Oh, thank you. It's taken a lot of work to get where I am with that. I wouldn't say I'm like a Souls expert or something, but I definitely have played Souls games before. I played quite a bit of Dark Souls 3. I tried to play the original Dark Souls, and I kind of lost to the PC port boss when it first came out. At some point, I should very much go back and experience it because it's a wonderful game. But I made the mistake of trying to run it at 60 FPS, as in when every enemy was twice as fast, because animation locking things. And that didn't go well for me. Let's see, what else have I played? I haven't played Elden Ring, surprisingly. I really should play Elden Ring. But when Elden Ring came out, I was busy making PoE content. So instead, what I'm going to do, hopefully, fingers crossed for the timing working out, but I'm going to try to make it a priority to play Elden Ring when the expansion comes out. Or DLC. Also, I'm going to adjust the music. I think it's a little loud. And what else have I played? Lies of P. Haven't played too much of it, because I've been kind of busy. But it's a very good game. Oh, grats on your Omnis drop. I really enjoy a lot of Souls-like games. And I especially enjoy other games with Souls-like elements. Because there's a lot you can learn from how Souls games work. Actually, an example of this is Lies of P has amazing Souls-like level design. Like, actually incredible. Because what it does is, instead of starting you the way I've seen some games do, they start you up high. A good example of this, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is not a Souls-like at all, but it starts you up high so that it shows you, here are all the cool places that you can go. Oh, sorry, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom starts you up at the top of a world. So you see the world laid out before you. You see all of Hyrule, I can go here, or that thing in the distance looks cool. Lies of P does the opposite. It starts you down low, and you go from low to high. So you have this experience of an area being very expansive and it opening up as you explore it because you started low and you get to see more of it. It's a way to make a relatively linear, relatively small level feel so much bigger. And that's something that, as far as I know, From Software kind of pioneered. And I remember even in their really, really old games, like pre-Dark Souls, they had that kind of design. And from what I've seen in No Rest for the Wicked, they nail that. Like, that's one thing I noticed watching some of Riker's video. They nail that sense of verticality and opening areas up, which is really exciting. Funnily enough, when it comes to verticality like that, the best From Software game that I've played is Armored Core 6. Because it takes the verticality to almost the opposite extreme, where you start out doing small things in a small limited area. And as the importance of your missions grows, not only is verticality, because, you're a mech, you can fly, not only does that grow, but as the verticality increases, the scale increases. Like, you start down as a mercenary doing mercenary things, and you end in space with a city-sized ship dealing with the fate of, I don't quite know if it's the galaxy, but definitely the solar system and the entire planet. And so as the set pieces get more epic, the scale of verticality dwarfs you. That's another really cool use of it in games. Yeah, I'm not really into PvP in my ARPGs. So I'm not looking forward to No Rest for the Wicked having PvP. But also, it's whatever. Like, if that gets people to buy the game, good. And if it doesn't, hopefully they don't waste time continuing to support it. Because a lot of ARPGs had some PvP elements. I mean, hell, PvP in Path of Exile is a thing. And occasionally I'll use it to test a mechanic or two, and aside of that, I pretend it doesn't exist. And that's fine. It's not like GGG's wasting tons of time on PvP stuff anymore. It isn't really No Rest for a Wicked content, Aristo, but if you did want to see my thoughts on Ori and the Blind Forest, on my second channel, I do have a review of it. Oh, I should not stand in that. That might kill me. I'm not the biggest fan of PvP in games in general, especially when games have power systems that give progression, because then it kind of becomes griefing simulator. The last game that had PvP that I was like, okay, this actually does add something to the game, was Armored Core 6, because the PvP was completely disconnected from the rest of the game. If I was like, I hate PvP, I don't want to do it, my experience is completely unchanged with the rest of the game because it exists. But also, because it was an arena mode, and because unlocking a lot of the gear and the cores and all that wasn't that hard, it didn't feel like it was griefing simulator, unless someone was using the wheelchair build, in which case it was 100% griefing simulator. So naturally, I played the wheelchair build quite a bit. But no, it's much more fun because you kind of knew what you were getting into going in. Whereas an example of not enjoying PvP integrated into a game, Diablo 4. Why does D4 have PvP again? It's not good. It's not interesting. It doesn't add anything to the world. And half the time, you're just in those PvP zones because you want to do PvE content in them. And then that gets you griefing simulator. Oh, 29. Yeah, looping back in From Software games, like going through, killing stuff, thinking, oh, I've explored this area, and then going back to the beginning and finding more stuff, or more likely a mimic chest that you somehow missed the first time. Very cool. Until the mimic eats your face off. Slightly less cool when it does that. Yeah, I PvP'd a bit in WoW, but the more I played WoW, the more it became I'm PvPing to get gear to use in PvE, not because I enjoy PvP. The only time I really enjoyed PvP in WoW was doing RBGs with guildies on a warlock that had the Shadowbolt proc trinket from Deathwing Lair. I think that's what it was called. Oh, it's been so long. Maybe it was Fall of Deathwing? I don't know, the end raid for Kata. Basically, that super disgusting proc trinket on Warlock, and it was specifically because it was guild RBGs. That was a lot of fun. Just dotting everyone up, watching like you die and you're back at spawn and you're just shooting 100 chaos bolts across the screen or shadow bolts across the screen because your dots are just ticking on people over there. And then your raid leader's like, someone go get the flag at me. Then you're like, huh. Good thing I don't have to do that because I'm just dotting everyone. Well, congrats on your rank 13. And yeah, the PvP grind probably ruined WoW for a lot of people. I didn't really like vanilla much. Most of my gameplay came in Wrath later, but I could see PvP ruining things, or more accurately, giving you an avenue to ruin the game for yourself. Okay, Joko Grayson, you are new to ARPGs. What does low life mean? Low life refers to a ward build that generates ward based on missing health. So right now, I'm not a low life build, even though I have ward, because my life tends to sit pretty full. But if I wanted to get as little life as possible to generate ward based on how much is missing, that would make me a low life build. It's a good way to get a lot of extra defenses, because that way your ward is constantly recharging and generating instead of decaying. Yeah, I played a lot of MMOs, but these days I find myself much more attracted to really well-crafted single-player experiences. Which is why I have a second channel, where I play all sorts of random games. Like every Steam Next, I play 10 plus demos to see, hey, what's cool? Some of them are really bad. I've played some terrible demos. I even had a demo blue screen me once. I've also played some really good demos. I found games like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. That was awesome. And I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't have known at all about that game. Death Must Die is another one. Welcome on in, Ash. Just keep beating up snakes. I think around 300 corruption, both Warlock and Runemaster with ward setups can get functionally immortal. And just zoom. I suspect that right now, if we're counting bug abuse, Warlock's tankier. But I also suspect it doesn't matter. You know, that's an interesting thing about early access titles that I've been kind of thinking about. When I go hard on a title in early access, it's not that I don't enjoy it. Like, I played Palworld for 100 hours, and I had fun with that. I enjoyed playing Palworld. That's why I did it for 100 hours. But I also feel like I've kind of gotten everything from Palworld that I would want. Palworld could add 100 new pals and a new region and all this cool stuff that would legitimately make the game into a better experience. I don't know that I'd go back to it, because I kind of already got what I wanted from it. And so, in a sense, I've noticed you have to be careful to not let early access be an avenue to ruin the game for yourself, where you only experience the worst version. Though there's also exceptions to that rule, like Hades. I played about 100 hours of Hades in early access, and then it came out and I played a ton more because it was a blast. Legitimately awesome game at every point. But I think the difference there is it wasn't the gameplay of Hades that really re-engaged me. It was the storytelling. I loved the storytelling. And so I wanted to know what happened. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's do this. Summon Skeleton. Soul Feast. All right, well, we've made a really awesome chest for a build that is not mine. And so I kind of wonder if early access isn't a enter with caution. So I'm not going to say, oh, it outright ruins games. In some cases it does. Absolutely. In some cases it absolutely doesn't. I mean, I don't think Baldur's Gate 3 would have been as good as it is without the early access period. But I also feel like there's such a thing where you have to say, you know, I'm going to play this now or I'm going to play it later. So I'm going to be kind of cognizant going in. Especially with games that have a lot of replayability, like Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. I'm probably not going to play it as much as I otherwise would have, just because I want to play it when it's fully finished. Lord 7, pinned comment. I'll still probably play it quite a bit, though. I mean, hell, I played the demo. There was only one little teeny piece for like 20 hours. So why do you wish that companies wouldn't do campaigns with specifically streamers? What's the thought process behind that? Hey, that's just the Cheeto dust, Ash. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'll get another helmet. Might be Barboot. It's been a bit since we got a Barboot drop. Oh, you mean ad campaigns in general? So as much as I would love to be like, yeah, the game should build its audience naturally and organically, unfortunately, that's not how the world works. And that if they don't do those campaigns, their audience is always going to be much smaller. And the amount of money they make, the budget they have, their future is going to be a lot more uncertain. That even with ad campaigns, it's very hard to be an indie dev. And that there's a lot more failures than success stories out there. Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is a perfect example. It's an amazing game that everyone I know who's played it is like, I love this, it's awesome. And then everyone who I know that hasn't played it is like, what's that? That's a Bethesda game. They have a huge audience. And yeah, a lot of people will buy it and never play it again. But at the end of the day, a lot of people would buy a game and never play it again after a very short amount of time, regardless. But ultimately, what the advertising campaign does is it gives your game a better chance to find an audience. So that's the thing, C2, for everyone like you who will see that ad campaign and go, oh, it's fake, I shouldn't participate in this. There's probably 10,000 people who are like, this looks awesome. I mean, I can give a good example of this actually from my own stuff. On a lot of my videos, I ask people to like and subscribe. Why? Because getting those likes and subscribes is important as a content creator because the YouTube algorithm says so. I don't enjoy it. I would rather not do it if I could avoid it. But then every once in a while, someone's like, you really shouldn't ask for likes and subscribes, so your growth can be organic. And the thing is, I wouldn't be here doing this full time if I never asked for likes and subscribes. Because for every person who's like, you shouldn't do that, or they're like, I would have liked the video, but since you asked, I'm not going to. There's 100 people who would not have liked and would not have subscribed who do because I asked. That those artificial things happen because outside systems like the Google search algorithms require them, and because they work. And unfortunately, as much as I don't like having to do that, I'm going to keep doing it because the harm there of a few people not watching my content or not subscribing or whatever is massively outweighed by the benefit of bringing people in who do see my content and do enjoy it. Like, there's a lot of things that in an ideal world, yeah, exactly, Dobble. Yeah, there's so many people that I 100% know only subscribe because I say it. Because every once in a while, I'll be a little too caught up in making my video and I'll forget to say it. And then I'll look at my video afterwards, I'll be like, wow, a lot of people really didn't like or subscribe on this one. Was it just not popular? No, a lot of people saw it. A lot of people actually spent a decent amount of time watching. Oh, I didn't ask, that's why. Got it. Yeah, like, this is the game we have to live with. This is why, if anything, there's going to be more advertising and more content creators showcasing games. And yes, there are some bad things about that, but there's also good things. Like, Asmongold did a ton of advertising for Vampire Survivors. And that was a tiny game by a one-person dev that he just wanted to make something cool. It was his passion. And I'm not going to say, oh, his company only exists because of Asmongold. That would be very unfair to Ponkel. But Asmongold certainly helped a lot. And that was a huge benefit. Not every content creator advertising a game is a benefit to the game. Not every game being advertised deserves it. But I would say overall, it is a net positive. No, it wasn't an ad campaign. But there are plenty of ad campaigns that worked. Like, look at Last Epoch. A lot of Last Epoch success came from the fact that there were massive ad campaigns with content creators in Maxroll, with a Second Wind group. Probably with Asmongold. I don't know if he had ad on his stream or not. I know he played it. Like, it builds foundations for devs to do things that they otherwise couldn't. And I can tell you right now, without sponsors, and especially recurring sponsors such as XD for Torchlight Infinite, I don't think I'd be doing this right now. I think I would have run out of money and had to go and get another job. That sponsors make a lot of things possible. You haven't seen any ads for Last Epoch, Ash? Interesting. I guess you weren't really looking at too much stuff right around the launch then. Because if you were looking at ARPG content around the launch, even some non-ARPG content, a lot of people had sponsorships from Last Epoch. They got a ton of work around. Or Word, not work. I read the word work. Oh, not even... Yep, that would do it. And it did a lot of good for the game, let me tell you. And there's something to be said for natural advertising too. Like, there are games that I picked up because... Oh, good example of this. I played Sunless Sea because I saw a Mandalore gaming video on it. He wasn't paid to make that. He just had a bad time with the game. And it left enough of an impression that he kept going and he had a good time with the game. And like, that's why I picked that up. And sure, there's some advertising. I'm not going to name any content creators here because honestly, I don't think it's their fault. I think the company gave them a shit script to follow. I'm not going to name a company either. Like sometimes you just get a shit script, but also it means paying your rent for the month. So you do it anyway because you don't have a choice. And like the game they're advertising, I'm telling you right now, I'm avoiding it. It's not really my kind of game, but even if it was, after seeing their ads, I'd never play it. So it's not always good. It's not always sunshine and roses. But I can tell you right now from personal experience, it is overall a net positive. Especially when you get to a size where you can say, I will take your sponsorship, but I will say what I want about it. And if you are not okay with that, you do not pay me. And if you get big enough, companies will do that. Yeah, going into finance. Oh, I bet that's so eye-opening, Christian. That it's very hard to do things by word of mouth. Do you like bad games, Ash? Because don't worry, I can give you plenty of links to bad games if that's what you're looking for. I mean, if you want a classic example of this, when I say overly advertised mobile game with bad ads from content creators, a specific name probably jumped into your head. See, Ash got it immediately. And that's an example of something where everyone memes on it, but they would not keep doing if it didn't work. It works. The overall net positive and money they bring in from that, despite being a meme, is worth it to them because everyone knows their name. Yes, exactly. This is a Torment Warlock build. Reason I picked Torment instead of Bleed, because Bleed kept lagging me and I hate lagging. I was playing Bleed originally. Also, after re-rolling to Circle of Fortune, Bleed was easier to get going again on nothing. Or sorry, Torment, not Bleed. But honestly, at this point, I have enough gear that if it wasn't for the lag, I would have swapped back. Let's see. Do I keep the Void Res? I do need it somewhere. And like losing Necro Res isn't ideal, but I do kind of want to do this. Wait, 17, 10 to 16. Okay, that's actually pretty well rolled. So I'm going to hold on to this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the company's value jumped 750%. Like, again, that's a problem with a lot of this stuff that, like it or hate it, it works. And it works on a lot of people. And so it's going to keep happening. Because unless you're in a very privileged position, you can't afford to not do it. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when you go through massive growth, it can be very uncomfortable because you'll bring in an audience that is very different from your norm. And as for what do you do with keys? You go to dungeons with them. So if I needed a legendary item, I'd go to the Temporal Sanctum. That's where these are made. If I needed to farm for more belts, I would go to the key that I don't have here. Here, the Soulfire Bastion. And yeah, you can very much get tired of your audience. Or tired of the content you make. Because it can be legitimately hard to do the same thing or play the same game over and over, day in and day out. And not hard in the sense of, oh, this is, you know, super physically demanding. No. That's not what I mean by that. And also, there's very big differences, like between it's hard to do that and you're making a ton of money. It's hard to do that and you're a very small content creator. Because as a small content creator, it can be very hard in the sense of you feel like you are not making any progress. It's not working. No one's watching you. You feel like your content sucks. You feel like you suck as a person. Those are all things that I've seen a lot of people go through. I'm not as much affected by it personally because I usually look into the statistics enough to know why something isn't working. Although I have to say, when a stream isn't getting many views, I very much cut it short because it's very weird to sit here for like 4 hours talking to yourself and not having anyone talk back. It's very weird. I appreciate that, Ash. Yeah, so you get weird stuff like that. And so it's very easy sometimes to go with, well, this does numbers. Like, oh, if I just play this game, 100 people watch me, it's a good time, I'm maybe making it. And that's also why I have my second channel, which I think I'm going to start aggressively pushing. Because don't get me wrong, I like making content for ARPGs. And I think I'm going to talk about this more in my 50K subscriber video when that happens, because I do think with the success of Last Epoch, it's going to happen. But the one thing that I want to change is a lot of ARPG content doesn't last. I make a video today for people to watch tomorrow. And I want to be able to make more videos that I make today that people can watch in 2026 and go, I liked that. A, because that will give me a lot more freedom with my content to take on more ambitious projects without needing a video for tomorrow. And B, because I find it satisfying to look back on an old video and go, well, that's a good video. Versus looking back on it and going, well, it's a good video. Too bad it's irrelevant now. And hey, I'm glad that helped, Nicholas. Differences between offline and online. The difference is you require an internet connection, and in online you can trade with other players in certain ways. Yeah, I'm very glad that video has resonated with a lot of people. I was a little hesitant to make it, because the problem of making it is you're going to make some people very, very angry. And people on the internet do not know how to do angry. And there were quite a few very, very angry comments. Most of which had bad faith assumptions like, oh, you just clearly don't know how trading ARPGs works. Like, yeah, I've only played Path of Exile for, I don't know, 10,000 hours, D3 for 1,000 hours, Torchlight Infinite for 1,000 hours, Last Epoch for coming up on 1,000 hours. Yeah, I definitely don't know how trade works in these games. Never done it before. Circle of Fortune is available in offline. I think technically Merchant's Guild is too, but you'll only have yourself to trade with. The link to the video is, I tried the Merchant's Guild and it made me feel like quitting the game. Yeah, there's always people who are willing to defend all aspects of a game. And there's ways in which I can respect it. If you're like, okay, well, I disagree because I've had a good time. That's fine. It's totally chill. But when you say things like, oh, you clearly don't know what trade in ARPGs is like because you made a joke in the start of a video about D4? Yeah. Okay, buddy. How is the build different from Maxwell Torment? Oh, the main difference is I'm too lazy to fix half of my items, so I'm missing like 100% necro res. And so, yeah, basically my version is the same, but much, much worse because I've been lazy. At some point, I'll go through my ring stash and fix things. See, going into Merchant's Guild, I saw a lot of the systematic flaws. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be good, but I'll try it. I even said that in a lot of my Merchant's Guild videos where I was like, I will be happy to be wrong. I was not wrong. Oh, welcome on in, Gustav. I'm getting word from a lot of things that give me word on hit or word on kill, like my Ghostmaker. And then I'm getting word per second from stacking necrotic res and word retention rate from stacking necrotic res. And most of the retention rate is from passives. Most of a word per second is from Bone Clamor Barboot, my helmet. So it's been going well. Another reason why I haven't really improved my gear much and fixed things is because I've been blasting. Like, why stop to fix gear when you're not dying and content is going well? Yep, no problem. And the other thing that I noticed a few people did after seeing my title and thumbnail is they assumed my entire video was all about hating on the devs, and they're like, the devs don't deserve hate like this. And it's like, bruh, chill. Not hating on the devs. I think the devs have done a good job. I also think they messed up the Merchant's Guild. Two things can be true. Benefits of Ghostmaker: base damage. It gives you a massive amount of base damage for your skills. If you want Ghostmaker, the best way to do it is Rune of Ascendance. Start Rune of Ascendancing daggers, especially COF daggers. It'll get you a baseline one without LP faster than the drop. But also, I think part of a problem is the sort of content that I watch is very different from a lot of the norm. At least for relative to the content that I make. I don't really watch ARPG content at all, aside of Riker. And it's not that I'm like, oh, I hate ARPG content creators. It's just that that stuff isn't for me. So I try to bring a perspective to, especially videos like that, of what would I want to watch rather than what would an ARPG audience want to watch. My YouTube name is a name that a friend made for my hunter in World of Warcraft. And I've just used it ever since because I'm bad at naming things. You can't decide between the Runemaster Shock, Ice Explosion of a Warlock. I mean, both are good. It kind of depends on what you want to play in terms of play styles. Do you want an active play style, a passive play style? Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad the content's helped. You're stuck at the Elder Gaspar fight with a tri-beam. What are your boots? How much move speed do you have? Also, you can get tier 6 movement speed. I would say there's a more active playstyle on Runemaster and a more passive playstyle on Warlock. Torment versus Bleed. Bleed is more active, Torment is more passive. Copying rules from one filter to another would be nice. I mean, technically you can, you just have to copy the entire filter. I'm not close at all. Yeah, YouTube stream has been popping off. It's been nice. Had a chill time. If you run into the beam in front, that's all about pacing yourself. I would recommend going and, if you have a controller, plugging it in and doing the fight on that. It can be a little bit easy to careen into things on mouse and keyboard with a click to move. But on controller, actually, I shouldn't do this, but all right, whatever. What are my buttons? Oh, I don't know. Oh, B is my, okay. This is going to be very bad because I have no idea how my build's going to play. But we're just going to run around a little bit. We're just going to run around. We're not going to worry about damage. We're just going to kind of hit random buttons and get to the phase. And then in the phase, I'm going to show you how smooth the movement is on controller. See here? You get hit if you go too far ahead and if you go too far behind. So you just want nice, smooth movement without running in circles or doubling back. And, oh, God damn it. Yeah, controller. Yeah, don't demonstrate stuff on controller if you don't use one and you're completely unfamiliar with how it plays. Yes, Ares. All right, let's do that the proper way. As for loot filter on dive bomb build, I have one. I would not advise using it unless you are very geared. Because the way I do loot filters is, as I don't need items, I turn them off from the filter. And so what I am highlighting is specific to my gear. Now, if you only need some double T6, specific T6 fodder and T7s, yeah, I have a loot filter for you. If you're like, I just hit monos and I need to gear up, I do not have a loot filter for you. I do have a video on how you can make your own, though. I'm about 200 to 300 corruption into this build. Took a little longer because I re-rolled from Merchant's Guild to Circle of Fortune. So my progress kind of got stalled as I was doing that and fixing it. But at this point, I'm able to pretty smoothly progress. Like, I can die on this fight. You just saw me die on this fight when I was messing around with a controller. But it's also pretty chill, and I'm not that likely to die unless I mess up. Oh yeah, another thing about a lot of those circle abilities. Remember the rule of circles. The closer you are, the shorter the distance you have to travel. So your speed actually depends on distance. I need more movement speed out here to dodge than I do in here. Yes, I have quite a few streams on YouTube. It's something I've been doing for a very long time now. Just because that's where my audience is. Like, a lot of the OGs are on Twitch, but a lot of people are on YouTube. And the other good thing about YouTube that I like is you can watch this afterwards. Which, even if you're watching on Twitch right now, if you missed something and you want to catch it later, you can watch it on YouTube. It'll be there. Whoop. The real problem with a Merchant's Guild is they set out to make a system that limits trading severely because they're worried about it being too strong. And in doing that, they have made it far too weak. Now, hopefully there won't be an overcompensation where it becomes the only way to play. Like, that would also be bad. But ultimately, yeah, it needs major buffs. What's my take on PoE versus Elite? Well, I made a video on it, but play both. Both are good. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of people, especially on YouTube, do prefer to listen, kind of treat it more like a podcast. That's why I've set it up to be a little bit more like a podcast over on YouTube. Slight differences between the two streams. That said, it's been a little bit. I'm gonna need to make dinner soon. But there's some talk earlier about Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. And so you know what? Let's play a round of that before dinner. It's been fun, but I'm getting hungry. And when I'm getting hungry, that's usually a sign to wrap up the stream. All right. Let's see. So exit game here. 2 mods, but 12 tiers, or 3 mods, but 10 tiers on an alt. I don't use either of those. I would just look for tier 5 of specific things or tier 4 of specific things, depending on my gearing. All right. And Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Okay. And change the title. There we go. We all did it live and we're good. All right. This is a game for controller. Let's see. I'm going to do... Now, actually, I'll go Hazard 2. I kind of want to try the gunner a little more and unlock this, because this has rockets on it, so it must be good. Oh. Well, let's hope we don't send in another dwarf. Let's see. Oh. All right. Well, while this is paused, I'm going to pause that too. There we go. Let's see. Oh, yes. Bigger cogs for sure. I should really be going for other resources like Nitra right now and gold, but especially Nitra. Yeah. And the other thing that I think is going to happen, especially as these games continue to evolve, is people are going to say, wait a minute. I don't have to play every PoE League. I don't have to play every last Epoch cycle. And people are going to go for the good ones. I think that is a very healthy way to consume games. Oh, welcome in, Maka. When am I going to spread democracy? What do you mean? I'm spreading democracy right now. These bugs are getting so much democracy. And freedom. See? Look at all that Murica they're getting. Oh, yeah. Giving democracy to all the bugs. See? Burst fire gun. Even more democracy. Next time I just stream Deep Rock, I should totally title it Spreading Democracy, with democracy in all caps. This really is just 2D Helldivers. I mean, it's not 2D though, it's isometric. This is isometric Helldivers. Oh, epic. Yeah, it makes my life better too. So I'm going to do this, which is probably a bad idea. Yep. Come on, go boom. That's going to die. And then, oh, that went perfectly. One problem is I don't have overclocks on these guns. Yes, this is a spin-off of Deep Rock Galactic, but it's a Vampire Survivor type game. It's awesome, by the way. Small chance to get EXP. I need more EXP right now, so yeah, we'll go with that and then come over here and mine. The neat thing about this compared to a lot of the other Vampire Survivor clones is the mining. Oh, that elite spits at me. That's so much easier to deal with. Okay. That was a lot of explodies. Yeah. And honestly, retention drops get made way too big a deal out of. Like, I remember when someone said, oh, Elden Ring fell off, all these people stopped playing it. It's like, no, Elden Ring didn't fall off. People beat the game. Like, games are not made, well, some games are, but most games are not made to be your entire life, that you play this and only this now until the end of time. That's not how it works. Now, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, that's when a retention drop is relevant, because that happened almost immediately. Oh, mining speed, yes. Oh, goddammit, I got tagged. Unfortunately, no. Offline purchase cosmetics do not transfer. At least in last Epoch. I don't think there's any cosmetics for this game yet. But I'm sure when there are, people will buy them. Well, have to get mining speed. Status effect, damage, HP. Yeah, let's go crit build. Then reroll and hope we get good gun stuff. Oh, good gun stuff. Without overclocks, this isn't as compelling, but it gets me closer to overclocks, so I'll do it. I really need to try out Titan Quest before Titan Quest 2 as well. I suspect I'm going to get frustrated with the difficulty mode stuff, though, because that feels like such outdated design to me. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe it won't matter. Or maybe I'll just treat it like Grim Dawn, where I won't worry about the difficulties in the end games, and I'll just enjoy what it offers story-wise. Okay. Poor loot bugs. I think I can get this one. Yep. Okay, and I think if I go through the lava here, then through here, I didn't get the gold over there, but that's fine. Warrior Barbarian Monk for last Epoch. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there's kind of warrior aspects on the Sentinel already with Forge Guard. So I don't know about warrior. I think that's already kind of covered. But Berserker or Barbarian, we could use that. Monk, I mean, Blade Dancer kind of, but we could also use that. I don't know if they plan to add more classes or masteries, though. I don't know what their plans are in that regard. Oh no, that actually hit me. Okay. And... I don't really want to do the powered minigun. I tried Marinas on Torment Lock. I would not particularly advise it. The base damage is just too low. You're better off with an Exalted until you can get a Ghostmaker or something. Yeah, I have not played Bloodborne because I'm not really a console gamer. But from what I've heard, Bloodborne's very similar to Lies of P, which is a huge, huge, huge thing in its favor. Let's see. Ooh, crit chance for every Nitra. But I don't know if I want to save Nitra. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to go back here. There's some loot over here. I wanted it. Oh, I lingered just a little too long, but it's fine. It's fine. We can just spread some democracy and escape. I need more boom bugs. Ooh. There we go. That cleared a path. Epic. Digging that way is a bad idea. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I know. I want to funnel all the bugs so that I can go around this way. We'll see if I have enough mining speed to do this, but I think I do. Oh, I slightly messed up. I'm going to take a little damage here. All right. Unlocked overclocks. Hell yeah. All right. So now I just walk in slight circles to get a little more EXP. Yes, I know. There we go. All projectile damage. Everything. I don't really need to level that up. Fire rate or reload. I think reload speed. And then reroll all. Yeah, mining speed's good. Move speed's good. Bigger cogs or fire rate on all projectile. Yep. Okay. Total affixes, I'm pretty sure, is only those in the rule. Oh, beautiful explosion cascade. Oh no, I took a hit. I'm bad. I'm a bad dwarf. Faster mapper. I mean, depends on what kind of chthonic fissure you're talking about. There's several ways to build chthonic fissure that all have different speeds. But I think the answer is actually Shadow Dagger Falconer instead. That's much faster. Okay. I think we need to give those spitters some democracy. Well, it could also be that I've been setting up my loot filters wrong. 50-50 on that. Oh. Okay. It took a few unnecessary hits there, but it should be fine. So that's the thing. Objective rushing is still better because the amount of favor you get scales with corruption. So if your build can handle it, which Shadow Dagger 100% can, Shadow Dagger's like free till 1,000 corruption. You always push corruption because you get those EXP bonuses, which scales the favor you get. And oh god, I just took way too much damage. Oh. There we go. Come on. Kaboom. Oh, that's going to hit me. I know, but I should not be baiting out all these explosions. There we go. Oh, luck. Okay, well, this is so much EXP that I think it was well worth it. Incendiary grenade or... Oh. All right, fine. Ooh, epic crit damage. Ooh. That's because 110 versus 210 isn't that much of a difference. I'm talking about 110 versus 1010. That's where it really, really matters. Boss squished. Ooh. All right, now we go over here. Clean all this out. Spread some democracy along the way. Reload speed, sure. It's fine. See? Plenty of time. Fire rate for sure. Damage. Can't get any more of those. Reroll. Yeah. There we go. I mean, that's the thing. Shadow Daggers isn't glass cannon. You get so much damage for free that you get plenty of defenses. Well, let's go over here. Not having overclocks is going to get rough here. Oh, I can get some health. So if you want to look at what a very tanky Shadow Daggers build looks like, check out the Maxwell guide and specifically look at the low life variant. Oh. Let's be very careful here. Grab that. Oh, look, I've collected 150 nitra. Nice, nice. That is a very angry mass of bugs. All right, I can, I think, get these. We'll find out. This could be a mistake. This could be where I die. But I think I'm okay. Oh, yeah, I'm totally fine. That's because it's not. I'm playing a little Deep Rock Galactic Survivor before I go have dinner. We are wrapping up the stream with something fun. Enough of a stream wasn't fun to begin with. Oh. Oh, there we go. All right. That goes boom. That goes boom. All right. I'll just remember that whole EXP pile's up there. Increased healing granted, yes. All right. It should be fine. Oh. Oh, I've made mistakes. All right. We're getting out of here. Okay. So I want to go towards the enemies just to set those off like that. Then away. Then towards and oh. I took so much extra damage. That is not good. Fire rate for all projectiles. Yep. All right. Oh. Hmm. Ooh, epic fire rate. This run's pretty good. Oh, look at all that. Look at how fast that boss went down. All right. Come on, boss. Stand right there. Yes. Oh, get nuked. Okay. Okay. Oh, I can't go over there. Too many bugs. Okay, we're going to dance around there. Okay. Yep. The farther you get in the game, the more you need damage. I don't do that. I will heal 50% here. And then all projectile. Reroll and hope for an 18. No 18. Unfortunate. So many legendaries too. All right. So goal here is just objective rush. Bum rush the objectives. Oh, ow. That's one down. Oh, it's a fly boy. That is the most unfortunate thing it could have been. But hey, we're fine. Now, where's the next one? Not over here. For some red sugar. Hell yeah. Okay. This is where the Flyy Boy is a problem, because he just goes over stuff. Oh, here's another. Cool. It's 2 out of 3 towards the Dreadnought. Oh, some red sugar here. All right. Never mind, no more mining of that. Yennefer. Oh. Okay. Oh. What context, Ash? Let's see. Oh, yes. At least in this case, because my damage is gonna probably fall off very quickly, and I don't have anything that I can get by farming. Because of a forward firing stuff, my damage is not particularly good because I don't have any overclocks. And so I'm rushing it to hopefully... Oh no, I'm not fast enough at mining, right? I'm not on driller. Yeah, I'm almost to level 12 with him because I've played him a lot. Because I actually don't mind his second gun config. But I definitely need to improve a couple things with my playstyle on him. Like unlocking some more guns for him. And focusing on my damage. Because like my damage is real bad right now. Okay. Crit chance, good. Oh, that hit me. That's bad. I was trying to get the Dreadnought out before I got overwhelmed here. So now we're doing a slightly different strat of just trying to heal up with some red sugar. Then going back around. Oh no, well, that was bad. I didn't think it would pop out and trap me against the wall. Oh well. I got 2 overclocks from that. Yeah. I thought I was going to be able to move around and get out before it popped. And it popped way too early and it trapped me against the wall. Oh well. That means it's time to go have dinner. But hey, thank you to everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed. Glad to see you chilling. I'll be back next time. So go find someone to raid. Yep, it was good to see you, Ash. Thanks for stopping by. I wonder... who is doing content stuff? Not that many people on at the moment, actually.